Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is the Man Child. Alright, so today up for review, we're going to go over the Masters Universe Origins Squeeze figure. It's part of the Wave 14 series at Origins. Now, I already reviewed Spike-Or. Awesome figure. You know, just super excited to finally have Spike-Or in the line. And now we have Squeeze. So, Squeeze was one of those figures that went back to the vintage days towards the end of the line with the Snake Men. I had him as a kid, along with Snake Face. And, of course, we have Snake Face out now in the Origins. What's cool now is Squeeze pretty much completes the, I want to say, the original vintage-inspired Snakeman faction of figures. So they're all complete in the Origins. The only other figure we're missing, which was kind of this part of the Snakeman, was Blast Attack. So he was like that robotic walking time bomb I think the King has created. He didn't look like a Snakeman figure, but that's the only one we're missing. Now Mattel did say with San Diego Comic-Con that they are planning on completing all the vintage-inspired figures for the Origins. But of course, they'll be as part of the Mattel Creations sale now, only on that site, unfortunately. And we'll see how that goes into next year. And he'll be a whole new tool figure, so I'll be excited to see him if they do finish it. But, again, it's cool to see Squeeze, and it completes the Snakeman faction. And here's a quick look at some of that cool Origins art on the back of Squeeze's package. Yeah, we have Extendor over here on the left-hand side. Now, he was already teased and now actually shown to be part of the Origins line for next year, so I'm excited about that. We have Rio Blast here. I have a feeling he's not far behind. Just a super popular character. He was teased as part of the Masterverse or the Revolution cartoon, so I can see one popping up in the Masterverse line. Mattel did also say that more Origins will be announced later in the fall, so maybe we'll see him. But I have a feeling he's going to be in a deluxe card packaging because of all the weapons and accessories. And, of course, we have Squeeze here wrapping all these guys up in the battle going on. And then dropping down to the left-hand side of the package, more or less shows Squeeze's action feature, you want to call it that. So it could tie up to 3 warriors at the same time. And we'll try that with the arms. And then dropping down a little bit over here, you can attach that pet snake weapon around his arm, which I don't think I ever did that. I think I just used to try to stick it in his hand as a kid. And here's a quick look at all 4 figures, part of Wave 14 series, and of course the Rise of Snakeman bio. And before we take a look at Squeeze, here's a quick look at the new comic. I showed this in my Spike-Or video, but if you're not familiar, it's just called the Fading Fortress. Of course, we have Squeeze as the main character in front. You can see what's going on with the Snake Man and New Man-at-Arms. And I'll flip through it real quick again. You want to pause and read it if you can, or just take a look at all the stuff going on. Yeah, we got the new Snake Mountain, as I said in my Spike-Or video. That's coming soon, Mattel said, within the next couple months. For Origins, I flip through that, check out all different figures going on. There's the new Infiltrator, Man-at-Arms. And there's the final page. And now here's a quick look with Squeeze and his accessory out of package. Like, yeah, it's so cool. You know, if we grew up with this, I did. It's another Snake Man figure, as I said, I had as a kid. And I can't believe now there's one remastered in the Origins. It's just incredible. And bringing in Squeeze for a closer look. So, yeah, cool head sculpt. You know, it's you always had like some type of lizard alligator / snake head. That's what the Snake Man line was about. They were a mixed mash of snakes and lizards or something, some type of reptilians. But as far as the articulation, so we can, yeah, spin all the way to the left, right, go forward, about that far down and back. Yeah, cool with the mouth is sculpted open. There's, you don't really see a tongue, but it is painted red in there. Got teeth all the way around. Typical, aren't fangs, but just some type of, yeah, typical teeth. Sculpted and painted, which is neat. I love the way the eyes are painted in there. That snake-like eyes, cat-like eyes. Got the scales up top. And, yeah, just all like a lime green color. Pretty neat. Let's see. So this doesn't pop the head off. There's a ball peg. I'm going to check that out. So putting the head back on, as I said, yeah, so the jewel would have been cool if this articulated, but I guess it never did. The classics didn't, the vintage didn't. Paint's good, and there's all the back. You can see it has some other scales going up, you know, all the way from the back up to the top. Now, moving down to the neck, so already popped the head off. Yeah, scales go down to this lower armored piece. Now, I was hoping that it's like Spike-Or, it's kind of its own buck. So it has this purple armor piece, which you always had, but it's all part of the yeah, the buck. See, that's all sculpted on and just painted. Now it does have this cool snake symbol that's kind of inverted out, sculpted outwards, and it's painted. So of course it's the typical, yeah, dark purple color. Right, and there's the front and there's the back of it. And all things, you have the logo Mattel put on the back. Why would you do that? It kind of ruins the fit. Oh, I guess you don't look at it from the back, but strange place to put it. But anyway, yeah, I was hoping this can pop off for customization for you customizers. I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm going to leave it going back old school like the vintage. It's more my style, but I can't believe that. It's all part of the sculpt. All right, and anyway, so that's the armor, the paint, the snake. Yeah, you can see how the neck, so everything's got the scales end up here, then it's flat up here where the neck pops on. And then it's just got a typical, like a, yeah, your He-Man buck with the abs and stuff. And then, but they do have some scales sculpted in here, front and the back. It's all scaly too, like the arms. It goes all the way down. So then moving down to the waist, he has his own unique loincloth kind of mechanical loin belt setup thing. So it's all one color and all. There's not two parts to it, and so he can pop apart at the waist. Of course, spins, and mine pops apart really easy. I might put some tape on that. So moving down from that loin pad guard thing, so we know he spins, comes apart. The legs too are like all new tooling. So you have these armor pieces on the higher part of the thigh there, legs, and they're just done in a flat gray color, both exactly the same on the left and right side. They are all part of the sculpt. They do not come off, so you can take a closer look. Got some cool steel fins going on here, and then it's even sculpted, like they wrap around the back. Yeah, and again, the legs are all just all scales, just like the rest of the body, so that's neat. As far as the articulation now with the legs, so we can go all the way out about that far. Can I won't kick about that far forward, I think. How's the other leg? All right, something like that. Bend up at the knee, you know, we can spin at the knee. Yeah, these are, okay, so I said these are all part of sculpt. They don't move. And then, see, my waist is really loose on this guy. And then he has kind of his own unique boots as well, just like that loin pad guard there. And, of course, they can spin. And the foot can go up and down. And it just, all done in a gray color. Has some orange painting on the outside and the foot in here, you know, like some kind of guard or plate or design. And with Squeeze, you know, like Origins, if you want to pop these boots off and put Skeletor feet or He-Man boots, you can do that. So moving back up to Squeeze's arms, of course, that's the most important part of this particular figure character. First, I want to try to balance them. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. So obviously, you can stand them up, and both arms can just drag on the ground. You can balance them that way. Trying to check out what is... Okay, so you can put one arm down to balance them and put one arm up, whether it's the left or right side. Now let's see what happens if we put both arms forward, because they are heavy. Yeah, he's not going to bounce like mine. See, that is just going to keep falling. You'd have to have a figure stand, or of course, the arms wrapped around figures like it's showing that image, which we'll replicate. What about if they were all the way up like this? Is he going to stand? It's questionable. It depends on the figure. All right, something like that, it can work. So bringing Squeeze in for a closer look once again. Of course, at the arms, yeah, the arms are just really cool. The definition on the scales are well done, sculpted. They feel more like, yeah, they just stand out more, I think, than the vintage, which was flatter. And both arms are exactly the same as far as left and right side. Now, as far as the articulation, we can go forward, back. Basically just spin all around a circle. It does not have a hinge joint to go out. It's kind of just bends out. That's how you're going to flex it. It almost looks like it has a bicep cut in here. It's just a sculpting, but it doesn't. There's no cut. Now, these arms, both sides, it has a bendy wire. Look at that. So you can form it all different ways, and it sticks. That's neat. I don't think the vintage had that. I think it was just a loopy thing that, just a big piece of plastic. I don't remember if it had a bendy wire in it, but this works really well. Check that out. Now, as far as the... Okay, and the other side's all the same as I said, right? Yeah, bendy wire. See if this arm pulls out. I believe it can, but it's not on a joint. All right, check that out. So there's our arm, and yeah, there's no hinge joint in there, and it just popped right out. That's cool. So putting the arm back in, the other side pops out too. Moving down, we know it's on a bendy wire. We know how it articulates and moves and how it holds the figure up. So he has these giant orange wrist bracers on both the left and right side. They look identical. Even have a little snake logo in there, if you can see that. Do they spin? No, they don't. They're like, it's like the arms plugged into them. I don't know if you want to take them off, customize them. It's possible, I want to say. So as far as the hands, he has two identical big gripping hands, right? But of course, you know, shape for the left and right side. But as far as the right side, so the hand can spin all around, that is on a big hinge joint. And 4 fingers. Fingers are really, yeah, they're pretty soft. They're already pre-formed both sides, as said. And let's see, it has a, okay, so they pop right off like that. And there's a joint, the hinge joint. And there's a close look at when those hands off the, out of the bracer. And then, yeah, again, just the hinge joint go in and out. And as far as accessories, Squeeze only comes with this, what they're calling a pet snake. So it's like some kind of, yeah, it's like a mechanical pet snake that you'll wrap around his arm, which we'll try in a second. Pretty cool detail. It's a hard plastic, but it is flexible, so you can bend it. But of course, it's going to form back. Yeah, it's got a mechanical tongue sticking out in her eyes and stuff like that. So that's a neat accessory. And then like the art, looks like you can wrap it the way it's coiled around, you know, one of the hands like this. It doesn't matter which arm. Let's put on the right one for now. So I'm trying to set Squeeze up with his, yeah, pet snake, his weapon. I find it easier to kind of hold in his hand. I think that's what I did with the vintage. And then wrap it around his arm like this. Not what it shows. I mean, you can wrap it on an arm. But now my arm is becoming a little bit loose. See that? Because of the weight, like my waist. So this figure has a little bit of QC issues in the joints. I could put some kind of Teflon tape or something to tighten the joint up or something. You know, those, not the end of the world, but stand under here or something. But that's how he would hold it. I think the best way, and then the other way, like the art, right? Look, I was showing you, would just wrap it around, coil around the arm like this, okay? So you're going to hold it. So is that arm going to stand up now with that? No. I'm going to have to hold the arm up, but if he did, it would look, yeah, even that doesn't really work right. Something like that, maybe? Okay. Now here it is on the left side, holds it really well. You're going to mess around with it, but it's, even if I put this arm down, it's so heavy, and you can bend the arm up, that arm is holding better inside that joint, but it just falls forward with, it's hard to balance him. You'd have to have a figure stand clip on her waist, and it would look something like that. And now here's a quick look at Squeeze's action feature, we'll call it, where you would tie up the 3 warriors at the same time, like the card art shows. So we have He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and Teela, and yeah, it works awesome. Exactly what it states. All right, and go back to this card art, it's gonna look something like that. And moving on to some parts, switching and swapping. Now, you know, obviously we can't take the armored off. I was hoping we can and try maybe King Hiss's armored. And, you know, you can make a whole video, customize all kinds of wacky stuff. That's what's fun with the Origins, so that's out. We know the head can come off. The hands come off, the arms, yeah, the waist and stuff. But my thing is, I want to try to keep it in tone with the colors. And the only figure in the Origins that's somewhat close to these colors is Whiplash. So let's bring him in for a second. So under my lights, here's a quick look where Whiplash and Squeeze. Yeah, so the colors are sort of close. His is a little more brighter, and obviously this is a little darker because of the rubber. But it's the best we have. Now there is like Pig Head, but he's more yellow. You know, I looked at a few figures. I thought Whiplash was the best one. Now what's neat is, as we know, Squeeze's arms now can remove, and we can give him regular arms. So that's why I come up with Whiplash. So let's put the arms in on Squeeze's body and check that out if you didn't want these long wacky arms. And there you go. There's a quick look at Whiplash's arms on Squeeze's body. Just wanted regular arms. That looks pretty cool, and it's close. It's not bad under my light. It works well. Now here's a quick look. What if you wanted to make him more of a mutant? So just put one of Whiplash's arms on, you know, one side and the long arm on the other. You can switch it up left and right, but you want to check out something like that. It's pretty cool. And here's a look at Whiplash's head on that body, and once again, Squeeze's 2 long arms, so you can mix up something like that. Or the Squeeze body with both Whiplash's arms and his head, because once again, the colors are close, and it looks pretty cool. Makes a whole new figure. Now check that out. So I have Whiplash's body with both Squeeze's long squeezing arms on, the head. And of course, Whiplash has that cool looking tail and legs. I mean, it's, again, a whole new figure. Just another mutant to join the Motu Origins line. Really cool. Now here's Whiplash's arms back on the Whiplash body, and Squeeze's head on that on the Whiplash body. That too looks like a whole yeah, different creature with that body just because of the head. And so for the most part, we have Squeeze pretty much set back up with his head and arms, but I did put the lower Whiplash end just with the unique, his own color belt, loincloth, legs, and the feet on Squeeze. So you can check something like that out. Really cool. Gives him again a whole other look. And then jumping back to Whiplash, just to Squeeze his lower, you know, end plugged into the torso with the legs and feet. And setting Squeeze all back up to his traditional form. So we did the arms, we swapped parts, so you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with heads and things. But again, Whiplash, because of his color, seems to be the closest match. So the last thing I want to focus on is now with the Origins is changing out hands. So you don't want to use these big, right, grabbing hands and put something small. Again, Whiplash, because the colors are green, or you want to paint a He-Man hand or something. That's what it looked like in this bracer. Kind of small because just how big the bracer is, but that's what it would look like. One of the grabbing hands would spin and it still articulates. And for one last custom setup, so I put one of the big squeezing grabbing hands in just the right hand side. And what's cool too, once again with Origins, is if you have the accessories with the normal hand peg that would plug into these, and Masterverse has them too. Some fit the Origins, vice versa. We can even use the weapon now, like from the new Spike Ore. Plugs right in, right? So you keep one big hand and have this new weapon. Articulates, spins, goes all around, so that's pretty neat. And now here's a quick group shot or family photo of all the current Snake Man as part of the Origins line. I mean, a year ago, I think the Snake Men were announced, and look what we have. They're, for the most part, complete. So now we have our Squeeze, Snake Teela, which was part of 2000X, but of course it's a variant now in the Origins, so that's neat. King Hiss, I got mine set up in the Serpent form. We got one of the Snake Horde Troopers, which was only done once in the classics. The classic Cobra Khan. We got Tongue Lasher, Camo Khan. Here's Rattler. I have a 2000X armor on him to make him General Rattler, which works, and that looks cool. And Snakeface. And, of course, we have a 4-pack come with some variants. Lady Slither's coming out, and Fangor. Now, they're also going to be part of that Mattel Creations exclusive stuff, but it's just neat to see this many Snake Men as part of the Origins line. Alright, so that's pretty much my review on the Masters Universe Origins Squeeze figure. Yeah, again, I'm just super excited to have him, just like Spike on the line. Once again, he pretty much completes the whole Snakeman faction, going back to the vintage aside, minus Blast Attack. But these two are definitely two of the coolest figures as part of Wave 14 series. What I like with Squeeze is just, the arms are really neat. Not only can they come apart from the shoulders now, and you can put in other arms like Whiplash, for example, because that was the closest color. But the bendy wire effect, the sculpting, you got these big bracers. I'm not sure if they can come off. Look like you can cut them somehow, and you can separate them from that arm if you want to custom. I don't know what's under there, but it looks like it's possible. I like the two big grip hands, and it's neat that, again, not only do they articulate, they can come out. You can put Spike Ore's weapon or other hands or, stuff in the Masterverse that can fit in with that type of peg. I wish the armor can come off. I'm really surprised that it's all part of the sculpt. But again, like Spike Ore, so is his, when I reviewed him, his spike and all this, the whole, that whole buck is just, it's its own sculpt. The rubber comes off, but it's not like a He-Man buck underneath, where I thought this can come off when you would have just its own buck and put a King Hiss armored or whatever you wanted on it. Aside that, it is cool. You can change the head, the arms. It had a lot of ways to feet the whole deal. And, it's just a big improvement over the vintage. This weapon's, Pet Snake it's neat how it's detailed, but for the most part, mine can't really hold it. He falls forward. So what I'm going to do, if you're not familiar, I got these just different types of figure stands, like this clear acrylic one, square. It's about the right height, and I can just clip it on his waist. I do this with some of these Origins that are too heavy. That's it, done. Now I can hold him up. He has no problems falling forward. I can get the arm, bend the arm up, put the heavy stuff. But again, with this stake, the articulation now starts to fall in the arm. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this weapon. I'm not even going to use it, or I'm not sure yet. Beside that, it is neat they included it. And really cool figure. I'm just happy to have him as part of the Wave 14 series, So I appreciate all you guys watching. And until next time, take care.